Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn with Michaela, where I help you speak clear, confident English step by step. Today's topic is all about how often you do things. That's right, today we are talking about adverbs of frequency. They're short, simple, and used in everyday conversations to talk about habits, routines, and schedules. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know what adverbs of frequency are, where to put them in a sentence, how to use longer phrases like once in a while, and how to avoid the most common grammar mistakes. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the basics. So what are adverbs of frequency? Adverbs of frequency tell us how often something happens. For example, if you consider the questions, how often do I brush my teeth? Or how often do you call your family? Adverbs of frequency help us to answer those questions. For example, I always brush my teeth. I sometimes call my family. They are really helpful when talking about habits, routines, or even other people's behaviour. So now let's take a look at the list of the most common adverbs of frequency in order from most frequent to never. Always, 100%. She always arrives on time. Almost always, 90 to 99%. He almost always remembers my birthday. Usually, 80 to 90%. We usually eat dinner at 7 p.m. Frequently, 70 to 80%. I frequently go jogging in the morning. Often, 60 to 70%. They often watch movies on weekends. Regularly, 50 to 60%. She regularly checks her email. Sometimes, 30 to 50%. We sometimes eat out. Occasionally, 20 to 30%. He occasionally visits his grandparents. Seldom, 10 to 20%. I seldom eat junk food. Rarely, 5 to 10%. They rarely travel abroad. Hardly ever, 1 to 5%. She hardly ever drinks coffee. And never, 0%. He never smokes. Here is a tip for you. Rarely and seldom are not really used in day-to-day conversation as they are far more formal. The best alternative would be hardly ever. This is used more commonly in conversation. Okay, so now we know what they are, let's take a look at where they go in a sentence. This is super important and where most learners make mistakes. The first rule is that adverbs of frequency come before the main verb. So the structure is subject plus adverb plus verb. Examples include, I usually take the train. He often studies in the library. They sometimes forget their homework. The second rule is that adverbs of frequency come after the verb to be. The structure of this is subject plus to be plus adverb. Examples include, she is always cheerful. We are never late. The kids were usually tired. Rule number 3. Adverbs of frequency come between the auxiliary or modal verb and the main verb. The structure of this is subject plus auxiliary or modal verb plus the adverb of frequency and then the main verb. Examples include, you can often hear birds outside. He has always wanted to travel. I should never lie. Just remember, if you are only using a main verb, the adverb goes before it. With the verb to be, the adverb goes after it. And with modal or auxiliary verbs, the adverb goes between. Now let's talk about longer expressions of frequency, also known as adverbial phrases. These usually go at the end of the sentence. The common longer phrases are every day, week, month, year, once a week, twice a month, 3 times a year, from time to time, once in a while, every now and then, all the time, most of the time, hardly ever. These adverbial phrases usually go at the end, but sometimes they are put at the beginning for emphasis. Here are a few examples of expressions that go at the end of the sentence. I go to the gym 3 times a week. We eat pizza every day. She visits her grandmother once a month. They argue from time to time. And here are a couple of examples of these expressions going at the beginning of a sentence. Every weekend, we clean the house. Once in a while, I eat junk food. Just remember, short adverbs go in the middle of a sentence and longer adverbs and expressions go at the end of a sentence. Now let's take a look at a few common mistakes that learners make and how to avoid them. I go always shopping. This should be I always go shopping. She never is happy. Should be she is never happy. They go rarely to the gym. This should be they rarely go to the gym. I visit my grandma every month once. Should be I visit my grandma once a month. Try to remember that grammar is like music. Word order matters. If you get the rhythm right, your sentences will sound beautiful and natural. Now let's talk about the word ever. Ever is used to express frequency in negatives and questions. For example, have you ever travelled abroad? Or do you ever cook dinner at home? I don't ever want to do that again. She hasn't ever seen snow. In positive sentences, we don't use ever. Ever is only used in negatives and questions. So let's take a look at how questions with ever are formed. Questions with ever usually ask if something has happened at any point in someone's life or experience. Let's take a look at how we form these questions. In the present perfect tense, we use the structure have or has plus subject plus ever plus past participle. Have you ever been to Japan? In the past simple, we use the structure did plus subject plus ever plus base verb. Did you ever see him cry? In the present simple tense, we use do or does plus subject plus ever plus base verb. Do you ever eat breakfast? In the present continuous tense, we use is or are plus subject plus ever plus ing. Are you ever coming back? In the future tense, we use will plus subject plus ever plus base verb. Will she ever forgive me? And when we use modals, the structure is modal plus subject plus ever plus base verb. Can you ever be serious? And negatives with ever are usually used to emphasize that something has never happened. Let's take a look at the forms. In the present perfect tense, we use the structure subject plus have or has plus never plus past participle. For example, I have never seen a lion. In the past simple tense, we use subject plus never plus past tense verb. He never told me the truth. In the present simple tense, we use the subject plus never plus the base verb. She never drinks coffee. With modals, the structure is the subject plus modal plus never plus base verb. They would never lie to me. And with no one, nobody, nothing plus ever, we use subject plus ever plus verb. Nobody ever listens to me. Now that we have covered all the rules, let's test what you have learned. See if you can fill in the blank. I eat breakfast. I always eat breakfast. He watches horror movies. He never watches horror movies. We go out for lunch on Fridays. We usually go out for lunch on Fridays. She goes to the gym. She goes to the gym twice a week. They play board games. They rarely play board games. Did you get them all correct? Let me know in the comments. As a bonus challenge, see if you can write 2 full sentences using adverbs of frequency. Perhaps you can try using 1 short adverb like often and 1 longer expression like once a month. And there you have it. That is your complete guide to adverbs of frequency. Now you can talk about your routines, describe other people's habits, and sound more natural when speaking English. But before you go, let's recap. Use adverbs like always, often, never before main verbs. Put them after to be. Use longer phrases like every Monday or once in a while at the end of the sentence. And be careful with word order. I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I have creating it for you. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you never miss another English learning video. See you next time!